about body cavities and what organs are in each body cavity. And so we're going to start with the dorsal cavity. The dorsal cavity, just like the dorsal fin on a whale or dolphin, we always think on the back. So the dorsal cavity is towards the back. It has two sub-cavities, the cranial cavity, which encases the brain, and the vertebral cavity, which is going to protect your spinal cord. Then we have the ventral cavity, which is on the front of the body, or on the anterior side, and it is going to house the rest of your organs. In anatomy, we call organs viscera, and that is divided into two subdivisions, the thoracic and the abdominopelvic cavity. In this picture, you can see that the yellow portion is the dorsal cavity, and the kind of reddish portion is the ventral cavity. And this is just showing you another view of that last picture. The thoracic cavity is divided into two plural. So thoracic is where we house our lung and our heart. And so we have two plural cavities which are going to house your lungs. We have something called the mediastinum, which contains basically the heart, even though so does the pericardial cavity. They both basically contain the heart and protect the heart. The abdominopelvic cavity is separated from the thoracic cavity by something called the diaphragm. Diaphragm is your breathing muscle. It allows for your lungs to expand and contract. So that is then divided into two different parts, the abdominal cavity and the pelvic cavity. So the abdominal cavity is what you think of when you're thinking of your digestive system, etc. And then pelvic cavity is lower with your reproductive organs, bladder, etc. Now, within the body cavities, there are actual membranes that are protecting all of your organs. So we have, in some cases, we have bones that are going to protect our organs. We always have a layer of muscle that will protect your organs. Then we have these things called serosa, and they're basically serous membranes that are covering the actual organ itself. So every organ in your body has two different coverings. The outside covering is called the parietal membrane or serosa, and that's going to line the actual cavity itself. So where your heart is, you are going to have this membrane that is lining the actual pericardial cavity. Then you have something called a visceral membrane or serosa that actually covers the organ itself, because viscera in science means organ. So for instance, with your heart, you've got your parietal membrane that is going to be lining the pericardial cavity where your heart lies. Then around your heart itself is another membrane that is going to cover the actual organ. In between those two membranes, you have something called serous fluid. So these are called serous membranes. That serous fluid is allowing for your organs to move and work in a frictionless environment. Now, of course, to make things a little bit more confusing, each serosa or membrane has an actual name based on what it's covering or where it's located. Your lungs, the actual membrane is called a pleura. So your lungs have a parietal membrane, and it has a visceral membrane. We just call it the parietal pleura and the visceral pleura. The heart has a parietal pericardium and a visceral pericardium. And then in between those two, you have that serous fluid. And then all other organs that are in your abdominopelvic area are going to be covered by a membrane called a peritoneum. So for instance, your stomach would be covered with a parietal peritoneum and a visceral peritoneum. So this is just showing you the heart serous membrane. We just now call it pericardium. So it has a parietal pericardium on the outside. It has the serous fluid in the middle, and then it has the visceral pericardium covering the actual organ itself. Now, all of this is lying within the pericardial cavity. You do have some other body cavities. You have an oral cavity, that's your mouth, nasal cavity, nose, orbital cavity, that's your eyes. They house your actual eyes. We call them orbits. Your middle ear, which is going to allow you to hear, and then a thing called a synovial joint cavity, and that's where two bones come together, and there's going to be some membranes, and there's going to be some fluid, synovial fluid, that is going to allow for things to move frictionlessly, I guess, around so that you can bend your joints. Now, the next couple of pictures are just going to be showing you some regions. So if a doctor is doing any sort of surgery, they know exactly where they're going in, and underneath each of these regions, they actually know which organs fall there. So if you go to the doctor and you say, I have a pain in this general area, they will know exactly what organs are under that. And so we have these 9 different abdominopelvic regions. Then this picture is just showing the organs that lie under it. So again, if you're having pain, you know, on the right hand lower quadrant, or lower, region, then they're going to say, oh, this could be, you know, your cecum or your appendix or whatever it may be that is causing the discomfort. And then they also have quadrants. It's just another way to kind of divide the abdominopelvic region and know what organs are lying under that region.